Hi everyone, my name's Dina. I'm back today with another unboxing video. Today it's going to be the Adornable Elements Gemstones Beads of the Month, as well as their Findings Pack. So, if this is one of the things that you get on a monthly basis, then you may want to pause this video, come back to it later if you don't want to get any spoilers. If you don't mind the spoilers, stay tuned. I will have what I got this month for January 2025 here in just a moment. I will also at the end of the video have a little small tutorial on something that I will make right away with my box, which is what I'm planning on doing with all my unboxings. And then as time permits, I will have more videos available with the same contents of the box. So stay tuned and get ready, get your bead mat out so you can follow along with me. Alrighty, so I don't have my packets out here just yet, just in case somebody did not have a chance to pause their video and does not want to get spoilers. So I don't have them out just yet. So I wanted to talk to you about Adornable Elements a little bit. They do offer 7 different types of boxes, essentially, the clubs that you can purchase on a monthly basis. And then within those 7 different types, there's different sizes. You can get the single beads of the month club, or you can get a double one. So the double one obviously has more beads to it, typically double the amount. So the different types, you've got the delicas, the seed beads, gemstones, 2-hole beads, hot and trendy, fire polished, and then a rotating club. So this month I only have just my gemstones, and then I've got the extra findings pack, which is another thing that they do. They do a findings pack, and then I think it is crystals was the other newer one. Yeah, crystals is the other companion pack that you can do as an add-on to your purchase each month. I'm looking over to the side, so I'm looking at their website, make sure I'm telling you the right things. So with that being said, this month I just have, like I said, the gemstone beads of the month and then the findings companion pack. So here we go with the spoilers, just in case. So this is the gemstones beads of the month that I'm getting. I get the single club, just, you know, I have a lot of beads already. So I just get the single club and we go from there. So we're going to end up getting the Golden Sheen Obsidian is what this one's going to be. We've got round beads, the 4mm. We've got 4x6 faceted rondelles. We've got faceted star cut beads, disc beads, and then we have mushroom pendant, a mushroom pendant. So let's open this up and look and see what we got. And pour it out onto the mat. Alright, and then each little box or container that you get is always numbered. So if you're unsure as to which one it is, they've always got it numbered off to the side here. I'm trying to adjust for the glare of my light, but they always have them all numbered off to the side like this. That way also, if you store your beads in a different way, like with me, after I get done with these boxes, whether it's this one or a different one, I will design with it for about a month, sometimes 2 months, and then I will put it into my deep storage. And my deep storage is like all sorts of different boxes and containers that are labeled in my room here. So it helps to have these stickers on these items just in case I forget exactly what it is. So having the different numbers and everything, that does help out. And then this is our little one like that. So the first one that we had are the 4mm rounds. So what I'll do here is I'll just pour some out in my hand, and then I'll make it a little bit closer so you can see it a little bit better. So I don't know if you're picking up the sheen. Oh, you did on that one. That it's kind of almost like a tiger eye type sheen to it. So it is obsidian, but then it's got that different chatoyant, I think is the right word. I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly, but it's just kind of that little bit of it's got a tiger eye look to it. It's really neat. I like it. So I'm just going to lay these down off to the side. And it'll go back into focus here in a second as I open the next one and throw beads around. So I'll find those in a second. So these are the 4x6 faceted rondelles. So there again you see some of the flashing coming through and everything. So those are pretty cool too. I like that. And then we'll just put these down off to the side. The third container is the faceted star cut 8mm beads. And sometimes I have to take the lid off, sometimes I don't. And then these are this guy. Now these, I see a little bit of the flash on them, but I don't see a whole lot. But that's okay, because gemstones are gemstones, and depending on what part of the stone that they cut these particular beads in, this one has a little bit right there, is depending on how much of that flash you're going to be able to get. So it's still the same thing, it's just that some of them have a little bit more than the others. And those are the star cut ones. Number 4 are the 2x4 discs, which they're kind of like rondelles, essentially. And that like auto-focused again, so let's get that back in there. There we go. These are like just very tiny little rondelles, but they're a disc shape, so they're not faceted at all, they're rounded. And you can see a little bit of the flashing. This one right here has really good flash, you can see right there in the center. So those are really cool. I like that. I like having little small beads available. So you can do all sorts of different things with it. You can use it in a bracelet. You can use these in earrings, so you still get that flashy part of it. But it's not as a immediate type flash because it's so small. So it could just be a little bit of a extra to any type of project. And then here is your pendant that you get. So this is a mushroom. It comes with the bail, and the bail color is silver in color. And then as I turn the mushroom, you can see that flash go. So that's really cool. I love beads that do this. It's pretty neat. And there's another flash on the other side. So that's the mushroom pendant. So this is the beads of the month. And I've got these all out of order. But this is the beads of the month, the gemstone beads. There we go. Put that back into focus again for you. Try to get the camera to stop moving as much. And there's that guy. So there is that. So then I will come back here in just a second and I will show you the companion pack. Alrighty, so I'm back with the companions pack. So I get the Findings companions pack, and like I had said in the previous clip, they also have the crystal companions pack. And the crystal one, it usually comes with all sorts of different stuff. It says an example crystals companion pack on their website, which I'll have their website linked down below if you're interested in purchasing any of this. So it's one of those things. I love getting this because you always get, you know, all sorts of different stuff. We're getting earrings, jump rings, head pin, some buttons, spiral ring. We'll see what that is in just a second. Toggle clasp, and then some chain. Always a good thing to have some chain. So let's turn this over, and this is the pack. This is pretty cool. Okay, so we'll take out each one of these little items. A couple different bags, and then we've got some things that are loose in this bag. So we've got the ear wires here, and then you've got head pins. That's your button. This one looks to be the chain. Yep. That's cool. I like that chain. That's cool. I'll show it to you a little bit better and closer up here in just a second. And then this has your toggle clasp, and then a whole lot of jump rings. Alrighty, so let's get these up close and personal a little bit better. So I'll hold it this way, make it focus a little bit better like that. So here's your ear wires. So these are your lever back ear wires, and then it's got a hole right there that is kind of similar to a jump ring, so you can open and close it if you need to in order to add something to it. And then if you're not familiar with the lever back ear wires, that's how they open and close like that. So you get 2 pairs of those, and it's got a little detail on the front of it, the shell detail. So you get 2 pairs of those. The next thing are your jump rings. These are 18 gauge jump rings. They are 6 by 4 millimeters. These are all, I forgot to say what color this was, we're all in the antique brass color this month. So it's an antique brassy color. And then your head pins are your next ones. Doesn't say what the gauge is of the head pin, but it looks to be similar to either an 18 or a 20 gauge on that one. But they're just a spiral head pin, which is nice that if you want to use these for earrings, you can, because you can turn the spiral one way for one earring and then the other way for the other earring. So you can have like a matching pair that way. So there's that. Your button, this is a tiara cast button. So tiara cast makes really good findings as well. And then that's the front of it. It's a shank button, so it's got just the loop on the back. So you can use this in bead weaving, you can use this in bead stringing if you like, different things like that. And it's just got a little cute little swirly type design with some dots on it on the front. And then you've got a tiara cast 5/8 inch spiral ring. So this is just a ring. There are no holes to it. It's just a flat ring, and it is the same design on both sides. So that side and then this one. Bunch of swirls on this one with some dots and everything too. And your next one is your toggle clasp. So you get a nice toggle clasp. They're again very nice to use in bracelets as well as in necklaces that are not too heavy. I've noticed some that I use in the past that are kind of heavy don't really go very well with toggles, but maybe it's just user error. That's very possible too. But this does have the same on both sides, on both the toggle and the round portion of it. It's got the same design, and it's just like a bunch of dots. So you can see a little bit of texture there. And then the last thing that's in this one is the curb chain. And then this is pretty awesome because this goes with my gemstones this month. It looks like it is a black chain, but then it's been, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what the right terminology is, but there's gold flecks in it, basically. So you've got that golden black, which is very similar to the gemstones. So that's the chain. The chain, you end up getting 30 inches of the chain. So that's plenty to do a necklace, bracelet, maybe even add some earrings that kind of dangle down, that type of thing. So then this is the, oh, what am I doing? This is the companion pack. And then I will quickly just move these down so you can see the companion pack along with these guys. That's number 5, 4, and 2. So this is the gemstones beads of the month. And then sometimes, I didn't mention this earlier, I just thought about it. Sometimes whenever you have my gemstones, you see my gemstones, you may be getting a different package. It all just depends on what they have available at that time. So even though I got the golden obsidian gemstones, you may be getting a different package just depending on how much they have in stock and everything like that. Same thing with the findings. There's always that potential that you'll get something different. So this month I got the golden sheen obsidian, and then I've got the antique brass assortment. So this is my Adornable Elements January 2025 package. So if you like to, stay tuned and I will do a quick little video. I will be using more than likely the chain. I'm going to use this disc. I'm going to use the pendant. And then I think I'm going to use the rounds and the rondelles as well as some of the jump rings and everything. And we're going to make a little quick necklace. So stay tuned if you like to. Alrighty, so this is what I'm going to end up doing today. I'm going to make a necklace. I'm going to be using the 4mm rounds, the 4x6 rondelles, the mushroom that came with the kit, and then the findings part I'm going to be using portions of the chain, and then the, what was this called? The spiral ring. I'll be using the toggle clasp for my clasp on the necklace, and then I'll be using the jump rings that came with that. So what I'm going to end up doing, I'm also using some wire. I'm using, what is this? It is 22 gauge wire, and to make some links of some beads. I'm also using some Miyuki seed beads, and it is number 1925, so 1925 of the Miyuki. It's 11 or 0, just in case you wanted to get it. One thing I do have to say about the seed beads is that my seed bead stash is pretty old, so I may have some seed beads that are no longer available. So I'm giving you those numbers of 1925, so if you're able to find them somewhere, perfectly fine. You can use the same color seed beads and the same type of project and everything. If it's not available, I do apologize, but that's what I have in my stash, so I use what I have. Alrighty, so we're going to end up doing a necklace, like I said. So this is one side of the necklace, minus this part. This is going to be the extra portion of the necklace that's going to go on one end, and then the toggle clasp is going to go on the other side of that. I kept this out so that way I can show you a way that once you figure out what size that you need, which this is 2 inches right here, once you figure out what size that you need, then I found out I'm going to show you an easy way of cutting more of your chain and everything, so you don't have to sit there and count, okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, so on and so forth as far as lengths are concerned. But what we'll do first is we'll start off with our last little link that I'm going to make. I'm going to be using the one-step looper also. I've got the 1.5mm looper that I'm going to be using. Now I do want to say about this too, this is probably, I think, maybe the second time I've used the looper. So I may be doing something a little wonky, I may be holding it kind of funny, something like that. I'm still learning how to use it, so, you know, keep that in mind, please. What I'm doing with the wire is that I'm just kind of warming it up. I'm just moving it back and forth in between my fingers, so that way it makes it a little bit easier to use. And I'm going to put the beads on the wire first. I'm going to move the clasp out of the way, and I am doing a rondelle, a seed bead, a round bead, another seed bead, and then end with the rondelle. So then that's what you have. You have a rondelle, seed bead, a round bead, and then another rondelle. So to use the looper, and I usually keep my beads on the spool, so that way I just feel like I use a lot less of the wire that way. And to use the looper, now this is how I've learned how to do it, so if it's not the right way, more than happy to say something in the comments of, you know, hey, look at this video, this might help you out a little bit, something like that. But this is how I've learned how to use it. I put the wire into the little portion right here, and my glare is going crazy. So that way, there we go. Now you can kind of see it, except I can't really see it. But anyways, you put the wire, there's 2 little loops right here. Let me just make this closer. There we go. So there's 2 little portions right here. There's a claw right here, and there is a claw on this side right here. Then you have the big claw on the top. So what you want to do is you want to lay your wire on top of the 2 small claws and make it to where they are touching, and then when you close, you start to close the loop, Sorry, it's almost too wide for me to be able to use it with my grip. Then it will close and make a loop for you. Now I'm keeping the wire the way it is right now because I want to try to do a little bit of a right angle bend. So I'm just pushing backwards on the wire just ever so slightly. Then I let up and then just take it off. And then it makes a pretty good little loop for you. The only thing with this loop on the smaller one, the smaller one-step looper, is that sometimes you have to close that loop up. So I'm just taking my chain nose pliers, sticking them in the loop, and then just making it smaller. So that way the loop is closed, because I'm going to be using jump rings, so I want to make sure that my jump rings don't fall out, or the chain doesn't fall out if I decided to use the chain. Now move the beads up to the end where the loop is at, and then I hold the beads just about right there, so it's kind of almost to the end of my nail. And I'm using this as a measurement, if I can find my wire cutters. So that way I use about 1 finger's width of wire, and then using the flush cutters, flush side towards the project, cut that off, move that aside, and then you have something that looks like that. So now we want to make the other loop on the other side. So you take your item, put your wire where it's touching the bottom plate down here, and then also up against the two claws, the two smaller claws on the bottom. And I have to kind of get a little bit closer here. And then the beads are right up against the claw that's on the left-hand side. So that first claw, first of the small ones. And then when you close it up, it leaves a nice little loop like that. I want to do a little bit more of that right angle loop again, so I'm going to just bend back just ever so slightly. Then I let go of it and get it off the loop. Again, the loop is slightly open, so just use your chain nose pliers or round nose pliers. My round nose are in the other room right now. I'm just using my chain nose. They work just as good. And then make sure that your loop is closed up, so that way your jump ring doesn't come out. Now what I want to do with this, since it's the 22 gauge wire, depending on what type of wire you're using, I use I think it's dead soft, maybe soft. I think it's soft. It's either soft or dead soft wire, and that means that you have to harden it. So you can either get a bench block out and hammer this down. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use my pliers and I'm going to squish it really good. Squish that loop really good. Squish this loop really good. And then that kind of hardens it up, so that way it doesn't come loose whenever you're trying to make your item. And in our case is a necklace. Alrighty, get that back in zoom for you. So now I have my 3 links, because this is one side, like I said earlier, of the necklace. So we're going to connect this side of the necklace, and then I will show you how I'm going to connect my pendant. So with this, you need 2 sets of pliers. I've got chain nose, and then I've got a flat nose that I'm going to use. I already have 1 jump ring open because I was trying to play with it, make sure everything was fitting. And then I lost it in my pile of jump rings. So I already have 1 jump ring open. To open the jump ring, you just take it side by side and then you twist it open. And I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Let me make sure that this part is in focus a little bit better. There we go. Eventually I will be able to change my camera out to where I have a better focus. It'll do more of an autofocus than this camera does. So we'll get there eventually. We're going to start off with a link. So we're going to put the link on first. And then after the link is going to go one of the pieces of the chain. Oh, I forgot to tell you how to cut the chain. Okay, we're going to put this link together first, and then I'll show you how to cut the chain. Forgot to do that part. So you have one of the links and one of the pieces of chain. And pardon my shaking. I do that every once in a while, especially when my hands are starting to get tired. Alrighty, then you close up the jump ring just like that. Okay, before I forget now, let's show you how you can cut your chain. So this is the piece for the back part of it. Now on this one I did just kind of cheat. I cheated and I actually counted how many links. So I have 12 links in this portion right here. But one thing you can do is you can take a needle, or even it can be just a piece of leftover wire if you wanted to. Take the end of, doesn't matter which one, it could be the end of the, what are we using, chain, and then end of the piece that you've already cut off. Put that on the link like this, and then now you can use that to be able to gauge where you need to cut off your next link. You line it up together. This one is lined up with the one on the left, so I'm going to cut the next one down. And then if you want to do a double check, which I will do, I'm going to count it. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 links, and I'm cutting number 13. So that's one way that you can do it, is do it like that. And like I said, you can do it the other way to where you're just counting your links. My computer is running overtime right now because I actually have a football game on off to the side that I am currently watching in between takes of doing this. So let's go ahead and cut our longer link, and we will do the same thing. I'm picking up, I'll pick up the chain first, and then I'll put the end of the longer link on that side, and then let it hang down. Try to have it hang flat in my hand, and then line up the two ends, and then cut the next link down below it. And all I'm doing here is I'm just kind of almost like a jump ring. I'm just twisting the length that I cut off open a little bit, so it's a little bit easier just to get off the chain. And then that should be your two links. Now, to double check yourself without having to count, because a link like this and the chains are so small, you can hold it down like this and see if you're correct. And look at that, we have one extra. But this is how you figure out if you're actually correct or not. With it being that long, I was kind of afraid that I would have a little extra on one side than the other. So straightening them out a little bit, and then I noticed that there is one extra. So we're just going to cut that link off. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. I could have counted it before I cut and made sure that the numbers were correct, the same sizes and everything, but that's okay. It shows you that things do happen to where you have to, unfortunately, make mistakes and then figure out how to fix it. So there's my two long links. Okay, so put my needle off to the side. We'll put one of these links over there because we'll use that one later, and then we'll continue on with these guys. So now I will show you how to do the jump ring. So you pick up one of your jump rings, put your, if you're not familiar with it, put your pliers on one side of the opening of the jump ring, put your second set of pliers on the other side of the opening of the jump ring, and then you want to twist. So that way it's twisted open, like that. Still a little fuzzy. And then we're going to pick up our link. Wait, no, we added the chain. So we're going to pick up the chain. We're going to put the jump ring into the end of the chain. Then we're going to pick up one of our links and pick it and put that on the end as well. Then you twist these two back together. Never pull apart, twist them. Go back and forth in twisting. And then just make sure that this is tightly closed because that chain is kind of small, so you don't want it to fall out. And then that's your next one attached. So I'll do this one a little bit faster. Hook onto the link because that's the last thing that we added. And then put your chain on for this side. And that is 2 links added. Then we'll add our 3rd link. And then I'll show you how I'm going to do my pendant. Put the jump ring in the chain first, then add your 3rd link. There we go. And then close that up. Make sure it's closed good. And now I have 2 links of my links and chains. Okay, so the last little section is still going to be used. I'll put this big one off to the side too, so we can finish that in a second. I also am going to need 2 jump rings. I forgot to add this into earlier, but I'm going to need 2 jump rings. I didn't measure these. I forgot to measure them. So they are inner diameter of around 5 millimeters. Somewhere around in there. About an inner diameter of around 5 millimeters. What I'm going to end up doing is attaching my links like that to the necklace. So this jump ring will be attached to this spiral ring, and then this jump ring will be attached to it as well, but also be attached to my pendant. Now with that being the case, I need to get rid of the bail that's on the pendant itself. It is actually soldered together, so I am going to have to cut it off. What I'm going to attempt to do, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to attempt to cut it down towards the tip of it, so I might be able to reuse it if I can. Don't know if it's going to work. It's one of those things, it's trial and error. But you just cut that off and then pull it backwards and then take it off like that. And then now I just have my loop sitting there on the end of my mushroom. So now let's attach my focal together. So round jump rings handle the same way as oval jump rings. Grab either side of it on either side of the opening and then twist open. I'm going to go ahead and put my mushroom on first, and then I'm going to slide this guy on, which I may have to open it up a little bit bigger. Yep. Okay, and then just keep twisting. That's all you have to do is just twist it open. Whoops, I almost dropped it. There we go. Now we got the ring on, and then twist it closed. And then there is the first portion of it. Now let's get the second portion of it. We'll open up the second jump ring, and then we'll just slip this one on. Okay, good, that was big enough. And then we will twist it closed. And then that is what our chain will go through. Alrighty, so that is set. Oops, this one didn't close very good down on the bottom. Let me close that one a little bit better again. Make sure that your jump rings close. You always want to go just slightly past where it should land, and then that kind of helps to kind of kick it back to where it'll sit right. Alrighty, so now we have our portions to be able to put everything together. We've got our 2 links on this side, we've got the links for the back, we've got our toggle clasp, we've got the link for this portion of it. We don't need the seed beads anymore, or those, or the chain, so they're just kind of off to the side a little bit. We're still going to need some of the jump rings. Alrighty, so let's assemble. I'm excited to see how this is going to look. Alrighty, so pick up another oval jump ring, twist that open. I'm going to pick up one of these long portions, put that on first, which is one of the side portions. Then we're going to put on the chain and close that up. Maybe. There we go. And then make sure that oval portion is touching and closed. Oval jump ring. Okay, now this is going to be the part that you're going to have to make sure somehow to get, whoops, put that on my phone, let's not do that, to get this jump ring in here. So let's thread that little piece of chain through the upper jump ring of our pendant, so that way it's sitting there already. And then we're going to pick up another oval jump ring and we're going to connect the other side. So then this somehow, some way, we're going to get on. Ha ha ha, I found it. I was trying not to get too close so my head wasn't in the way. And then we're going to thread on the other end. And then twist that closed. This is looking pretty cool so far. So that's what it looks like so far. Alright, now hopefully I didn't make this too short. If I did, then we're just going to have to brainstorm and figure out how to fix it. So let's continue on. Let's add our 2 long links to either side. So jump ring, connect to one end, grab one of your long links, do the same thing that we've been doing. Oh. Maybe. There we go. Oh gosh. Okay, good, that's closed. And then on this side we will put another jump ring. And I will put the bar portion of the toggle clasp on this side. And the good thing about using jump rings is if I estimated the amount of chain incorrectly, or if somehow we cut it off at a wrong size, the jump rings will help, because you can always cut off extra amount of chain and then add another link to the end of it. Oh, I forgot to add the toggle. Okay, open that back up. Then we're going to put the toggle on there, or the bar part of the toggle. Oh, is it opened enough? Maybe not. Open it a little bit more. There we go. And close that up. And then we're going to add the chain on the other side. And then on the other end of this portion of the chain, we'll put the loop portion of the toggle. I'm not sure if that's the correct direction to put it on, but it's the port direction I'm putting it on. Okay, there we go. I guess it really doesn't matter because this is kind of symmetrical. There's no asymmetry to it, so you can kind of flip it back and forth whichever way makes it easier for you to put on your clasp. Okay, and then this one goes on here. go. And then put the toggle on. Sometimes you can add extra jump rings if you need to, depending on what you're using in your product to make the toggle or the bar go through the loop portion a little bit easier. I'm not going to worry about that because I'm using chain. Sometimes if you use either thicker chain or if you're doing a bead weaving project and your clasp is right up against the bar of the toggle, sometimes you can't get the toggle through the round portion of it, and it makes it really hard to be able to work. So I'm going to test this real quick and see if this works, and I will show you. I'll do a front version of it in just a second, but I think this is working good. Okay, let's do a front version of it. So I'm going to go to my front camera, and then I have a t-shirt on that I don't want to show what it is. And you can kind of sort of see it. I'm a little out of focus. But I will have a better picture at the end of the video. So I do want to say thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video because I'll have another one coming out here very shortly. So thanks everyone, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.